but then I can't. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to the Sunday Love Feast, and happy Mother's Day to all the Matajis. I ask that we please all come forward for Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bandhu Mui Sarvadana Bhate Yahara Prasad hai Bhai E Bhavatoriya Jai Krishna Prapti Hoya Haite Krishna Prapti Hoya Haite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitate Koriya Aikya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitate Koriya Aikya Arana Kori Ho Mane Asha Asha Shri Guru Charan Rati Aise Utama Gati Shri Guru Charan Rati Aise Utama Gati Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Prasad hai pure sarva asha चक्षुदान दिलो दे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति आहते अद्वितीय विनाश जते प्रेम भक्ति आहते अद्वितीय विनाश जते वेदे गाय हर चरित वेदे गाय हर चरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु लोकना लोकेर जीवाना लोकना लोकेर जीवाना हा हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया हा हा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया एबे ग्यास कुसुक त्रिभुवाना एबे ग्यास कुसुक त्रिभुवाना जया प्रभु पदा प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा 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 श्रील प्रभुपदा नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Radhanat Radha Radhanat Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Jaya Gaura Hari. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pararajikacharya Stota Satashishmad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON founder BBT founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pararajikacharya Stota Satashishmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda Ki Premsko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Shri Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Ganga Maya Ki Yamuna Maya Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulasi Devi Ki Shamaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and a very warm welcome to today's Sunday Love Feast program. So now we'll watch a short Srila Prabhupada video. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
So, beginning, Kunti Devi said that Namaste Purusham Tadyam Isharam Prakriti Param. I offer my obeisances unto the person Purusham who is Prakriti Param, who is beyond this material manifest. Krishna is complete spirit, soul, super soul. He has no material body. So in the beginning, Kunti Devi gave us this understanding that God, the Supreme Purusha, Purusha means person. He is not impersonal, Purusha. But he is not a Purusha of this material world, not a personality of this material creation. That is to be understood. The impersonalist cannot accommodate in their poor fund of knowledge how the supreme absolute truth can become a person. Because whenever they think of person, they think of a person of this material world. That is the defect. So, the poor fund of knowledge. Why God should be a person of this material world? So that was clear in the beginning. Prakriti para, beyond this material creation. But he is a person. So now that personality, although alaksham, invisible, now by the grace of Kunti, we can understand that although the Supreme Person is invisible, now he has appeared to be visible, Krishna. Therefore she says, Krishnaya Vasudevaya. Vasudeva conception, sometimes the impersonalists, they have Vasudeva conception, means all pervading. So Kunti Devi is pointing out that Vasudeva is Krishna, all pervading. Krishna, by his Vasudeva feature, he is all pervading. Ishara sarvabhutanam riddhese arjuna tishthat. This feature of Krishna, Krishna, the original person, has got three features. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as all-pervading Paramatma, Super Soul, and impersonal Brahma effulgence. So, those who are interested in Bhakti Yoga, they have no business with the impersonal Brahma effulgence. That is for commandment. Commandment. Just like you can try to understand, those who are inhabitants of the sun planet, what they have got to do with the sunshine? That is the most insignificant thing for them, sunshine. Similarly, those who are advanced in spiritual life, they are interested in the person, Purusham, Vasudeva, Purusham. That realization takes place, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, after many, many births. Bahunam Janmanam Anti. At the end of many, many births. These impersonalists who are very much attached to the Brahma effulgence, such persons, they are called Gyani. They are trying to understand the absolute truth by dint of their knowledge. But they do not know that their knowledge is very imperfect and limited. And Krishna, the absolute truth, is unlimited. You cannot approach the unlimited by your limited knowledge. That is not possible. So, by the grace of devotees like Kunti Devi, we can understand that here is a Vasudeva, the all-pervading absolute truth, Paramatma. Vasudeva is here, Krishnaya, Vasudevaya.
Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So Hare Krishna devotees, once again a very warm welcome to Sunday Love Feast program. A warm welcome also to those who may be joining us today for the first time. So as we all know, today is a very significant day. So a very happy Mother's Day to all our Matajis. Let's give them a Hari Bol. Thank you, Matajis, and happy Mother's Day. Thank you for all the love, the care, the selfless sacrifice that you make for us. And thank you for the role that you play in our journey to Krishna. A special thoughts and blessings also to those who no longer physically have our mums with us today. So in keeping with today's significance, our topic for today's class is Queen Kunti, Mother of Devotion. And the class will be given by Her Grace Gaura Bhumi Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna. Before I tell you a little bit about Mataji, a quick and humble reminder to please turn off your cell phones or to have them on silent mode. So Gaura Bhumi Mataji was a resident of Sri Sri Radharadhana temple for 9 years. And as most of us know, she is an aspiring storyteller, and she strives for a life of connection and consciousness. She is passionate about using creative outlets to explore bhakti philosophy in new ways. She used to volunteer in a drug and rehabilitation center, and there she worked with patients individually and in groups. Currently, Mataji works for a medical insurance company, and she's passionate about realistic and humane growth and creating a safe space in spiritual communities. She is focused on bridging the gap between mental health and spiritual life. So let's welcome Her Grace Gaura Bhumi Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I guess Krishna doesn't want me to speak today. Happy Mother's Day to all our beautiful mothers. Thank you so much for the sacrifice and love and care and loving chastisement you give us all
only for our own benefit. And similarly, happy Mother's Day to those women who, for whatever reason, cannot fulfill their desire of being mothers, but have that loving capacity within their heart. Happy Mother's Day to the older sisters, to the aunts, to the elder cousins that have raised us all. And you know what? Happy Mother's Day to the single dads. For whatever reason, they're raising their children the best they can, giving them the love that they deserve. Shall we sing for a few minutes? Jai Radha Madhava, why not? This song that we sing before each class is a very beautiful description of Krishna in Vrindavan, in the spiritual world. It is the, in one sense you could say, the absolute definition of what true love is, the happiness we can find in the spiritual world, and what is waiting for all of us at hopefully the end of this life. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai, Shri Gaura Hari ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. Okay, so on this wonderful Sunday of Mother's Day, we'll be speaking a little bit about a very illustrious personality from our scripture, Queen Kunti. Whenever it's Mother's Day, I think for most speakers or most practitioners of bhakti, she's like one of the first examples that always come into mind, Queen Kunti. And I thought just for today, I would reflect a little on there's a very beautiful section in the very first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 8, called The Prayers of Queen Kunti. So these is very wonderful and very interesting, actually. The Srimad Bhagavatam, is comprised of 12 cantos, and within the volumes and through all of the chapters, there are so many different pastimes that are described, so many different personalities that we get to meet. And in many different pastimes, there are these wonderful compilations of prayers by different individuals to the Lord, depending on what experience they're having. And the prayers of Queen Kunti are actually the very first set of prayers that you will read in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which I thought was very interesting. Shukadeva Goswami could have, spoken the Srimad Bhagavatam any way that he chose. But he started off, with Krishna, the end of the the Kurukshetra war. Krishna is leaving. And then we see the prayers of Queen Kunti. We encounter them there. And I find that the prayers of Queen Kunti are very exceptionally wonderful. Sorry, the English is going. They're exceptionally wonderful because these prayers, they give us some insight into who Kunti is as an individual, not just as a mother. Like I'm saying, today is Mother's Day. She's usually the first personality that pops into our mind, is that, oh, she's a mother. But I think, and I feel like maybe, I'm not a mother, but maybe some of the mothers can relate to what I'm saying, that you're so much more than just a mother. And usually sometimes when motherhood comes into the picture, that is the identity that becomes the most predominant, or the identity you're maybe most well known for. I'm so-and-so's mother. And that's the kind of identity that takes over, and that's what has to do. So similarly with Kunti, yes, the first thing that pops into our mind, she's the mother of the Pandavas, But like I'm saying, that was one of her many identities and her many roles. And if we want to understand what made Kunti Devi such an exceptional mother, we have to go into who she is as an individual first. Because at her core, who she was highlighted everything else in her life. When we go into the prayers of Queen Kunti, we see that she is a soul surrendered unto the Lord. That is who she is as an individual. And she approaches every single experience in her life from that identity, individually first. And that is what glorifies her in every other role that she takes on, such as motherhood. So yes, if we read her prayers, it shows the depth of her heart, and her character in a way that elevates her from even, you could say, beyond her motherhood in that sense. And the Bhagavatam is wonderful in that way, that when we read through the pages and through the prayers, it wonderfully highlights and brings out the voice of the devotee, the inner heart of the devotee, the thoughts and the characters of the devotees that we encounter. And if we are familiar with the life of Kunti Devi, it's not that her life was a struggle only when she was a mother. It's not just, when she lost her husband and when she had 5 sons to raise, 2 of which biologically were not even her own, you could say. It's not that only at that point did her struggles come, but actually if you go back, I won't go into too much detail, but if you go into the pages of the Mahabharata, you will see that actually her entire life is such a roller coaster of a journey. As an individual, she has gone through so much before becoming a mother. Just to highlight a few things, she is the daughter of King Surasena. So Surasena is the father of Vasudeva, Krishna's father, and that's why she is Krishna's aunt, father's sister. But even though she is the daughter of King Surasena, there's a neighboring kingdom, King Bhoja, who is unable to have any children. So he takes her and adopts her as his own child. And that is how she gets the name Kunti, because the name of the kingdom is Kunti. Her birth name is Prita, right? So again, she is adopted by someone else, right, out of childhood. And then growing up, we read of one day the very interesting sage Durvasa comes to the kingdom. And if anyone is familiar with Durvasa Muni, he's a very hot-tempered guy. He is described as, you would think a Brahmana, they're meant to be calm, cool, collected, meditative. But Durvasa Muni is described at each moment he has a curse on his tongue. He is so quick-tempered. If the slightest thing just annoys him, he will curse you. Kind of the opposite of what you'd expect from a Brahmana. But he comes into the kingdom, and Kunti serves him as a young girl, and he is so pleased with her service. He can find no fault that he gives her a blessing, a benediction, and he gives her a secret mantra and says that I'm giving you this special mantra. If you say this mantra, you can call upon any demigod in the whole of creation and they will give you something, whatever you want. He is so pleased that he gives her, imagine having the entire universe at your beck and call. I mean, that is quite something. So she's growing up, and the one day, Durvasa has left, and she's in her room, and she's thinking about this mantra that the sage has given her. And she's looking at the sun, and when you're a young person, you're curious about everything in the world. So she's wondering, does it actually work? I don't know if I can actually, any demigod in the universe, and they'll just miraculously appear. Because usually, if you want to see a demigod, you have to go through so much of austerity and yajna and sacrifice, and then they will come when they are pleased. So she's a little skeptical. So she's looking at the sun, and she says the mantra, and lo and behold, the sun god comes. And she starts freaking out, because, oh no, what did I do? And the sun god is in front of her and says, okay, yeah, you called? What can I do for you? And she says, I'm so sorry. This is a big mistake. I wasn't sure if it worked. I was just testing it out. I'm so sorry. Please go back. I'm really sorry. I won't do it again. I won't do it again. And he says, well, Kunti, unfortunately, I can't. You've been given a boon, and it's a very big responsibility, the mantra that you have. I can't leave without giving you something, because the purpose of the mantra is that you summon a demigod, and we give you something. So because of this, I have to give you a child. And she starts freaking out even more, because she's an unmarried young princess in the kingdom. What's going to happen? Suddenly, she just opens the chamber door and there's a baby, and scandal, So she starts pleading with the sun god, please, I can't accept this child. What am I going to do? I'm not married, anything like that. And he says, well, you have to accept it. This is the consequence for saying the mantra. Even, yes, I can understand you weren't sure about it and you were just, testing it out, but you've acted in a certain way and this is the consequence for that action. So she accepts the child, and that we know in the future that child is Karna. And with the help of two of her maidservants, she puts him in a little box and pushes him down the Ganges, never to be seen until many, many years later when she has her own other kids, right? And then further on, we see she marries Pandu. Pandu dies when she's young. They go back to Hastinapur, and then we see further trials and tribulations, how her children are, very openly, the cousins are trying to kill the Pandavas, the Kauravas, and things like that. So back to Kunti Devi's prayers. When we go into her prayers, and I stand to be corrected, but I think at the point in the Bhagavatam where she's sharing these prayers, this is the last time she will ever see Krishna again. And actually, it's this last picture here that we see. This is Kunti Devi. Krishna is on the chariot, the war is over, and he's going back to Dwarka. And he has just saved, the unborn child in the womb of Uttara, who will be born as Parikshit, who the Bhagavatam is spoken to. So as he's leaving, Kunti Devi approaches him and speaks these prayers. And we see from these prayers, basically, this is the culmination of a lifelong relationship that she has cultivated with Krishna through everything. And I will just say, I'll just read the translation of 2 verses. This is text 24 and 25. Many of you will recognize text 25. It is one of her the more famous verses from this, we could say, this stuti. So text 24. My dear Krishna, your lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from suffering during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where the great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. I wish that these calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated birth and death. That is quite a powerful prayer, and I am in no way inclined to ever pray like that to Krishna. I'll be very honest. Life is hard enough, Krishna. But it's a very, very interesting and powerful prayer. And think for a second, why would a mother pray like this? In general, right, if we think of parents, right, they go their whole lives working so hard to build something for their children. They endure so much. They put so much of their own life on hold to raise a family, right? With the hope that, yes, one day the children will grow up and they will take care of me and I won't have to go through this difficulty continuously, It will reach an end at some point. But here a mother is praying, no. Let hardship come again and again. Let problems come. Let calamities come continuously, right? And it's so strange, to just think about that. Because in general, we want the opposite of that. We want a break from the calamities and the problems, right? And we can see just from this one verse how Kunti's motherhood, through every experience in her whole life, has not led her to become someone who is sentimental and possessive of her children, in a selfish or close-minded way. But every experience in her life has just deepened her dependence on Krishna, no matter how hard it is. So we can see how this highlights Kunti's character as an individual person, the kind of inner strength and resilience she has in her love towards Krishna, right? That actually she, now at the end of everything, every experience of suffering that she's had, she has turned that suffering into remembrance. And in turn, she has turned that remembrance into unbroken attachment for Krishna, right? In this verse, we shouldn't misunderstand and think that Kunti Devi is glorifying pain. Sometimes we have this understanding or this conception in certain religious or spiritual circumstances that, sometimes maybe consciously or unconsciously we think there's a certain kind of, if I say, use the word sadism. Sadism means, it's a person who enjoys pain, the inflicting of pain on themselves. They think it's good. She's not glorifying pain and suffering in that kind of way. Sometimes people think that, no, spiritual life must be hard. It must be painful. I must be crushed down. Everything must be squeezed out of me, because only through these painful experiences will I be obedient to God. It's only through suffering will I grow. Kunti Devi is not saying that. Rather, she's actually recognizing that, when material prosperity comes into life, that's when people tend to forget who Krishna is, because everything is going so well for them. And they tend to become kind of selfish in that way. We don't think about Krishna's hand in everything. We think, no, it's my hard work that's brought me to this point of life. And she realizes that, it's only when danger comes when we actually cling towards Krishna. So Krishna, if that's the case, let the danger come again and again, because you will come again and again if the danger comes. Because every time, if you read the Mahabharata, things are kind of going well, Krishna goes, and then something happens and he comes back. Then he goes and he comes back. So she's like, wait a second. If things are going wrong all of the time, you'll be here all of the time. So that should actually be the best kind of situation to be in, right? Because every calamity that's coming brings me a golden opportunity to see you, to engage with you, to talk to you, to have you in my life, and to build this relationship with you, right? It's not that through Kunti Devi's experience, she's kind of, has these kind of, rosy blinkers on her eyes, in one sense. She's a mother like any other mother. She's faced anxiety, she's faced uncertainty, she's had a lot of fear, she's sacrificed so much in her life. And if you read the story of the Pandavas, she's faced all of this to the highest degree, right? And she says that in the verse before the calamity verse. She talks about the exile, the cannibals, the house of lack that burnt them down, the war, the political uncertainty, the loss that she's faced through every phase of her life. But none of these things have made her bitter about anything. It's just made her more dependent on the Lord. And that's what she's highlighting here, that difficulty should make us dependent on you. That's all. And as she continues with her prayers, they're a very beautiful selection of prayers. She continues to glorify Krishna in so many different ways. And what we see throughout her verses is actually a very beautiful theme of why Krishna is someone who is worth depending on through all circumstances, right? In further verses, and even we saw the clip of Prabhupada speaking on one of the verses of Queen Kunti, and how Prabhupada is highlighting how Kunti Devi is saying that, Krishna, you are beyond the material perception. You are not something that is off this world. You are unknowable to the everyday ordinary people. And despite you being unknowable, you are standing in front of me, right? And there, we see in the picture again. She's speaking to him as the invisible, but you are visible to me. Despite, the scriptures saying all of these high philosophical things about you, And Kunti Devi highlights, that in everyday life, there are certain things that we experience and we think that they're an advantage to us. The kind of birth that we have, the wealth that we accumulate, the education we have, our physical beauty, the power that we have, all of these things that we take ordinarily to be advantages to us, that's going to get us ahead somewhere. She says this is all just an illusion that covers our eyes in some way. It's an illusion of independence. We have all of these things and we think we'll make it on our own because of the education I have, because of the wealth I have, because of the social structure I've put myself in. I'm building myself up. I'll be independent and I'll do it on my own. But she says all it is an illusion of independence. And she says, Krishna, again and again and again, you have showed up and you have showed up and you have showed up in our lives. If this is not love, then what is? You know? And we see that Kunti Devi has a very, very unique relationship with Krishna. It's that maternal relationship in one sense, but it's very different to the relationship that, say, Mother Yashoda and Devaki have with Krishna. With Mother Yashoda and Devaki, you know, they're not aware, or at least with Mother Yashoda, she's not aware that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You know, to Mother Yashoda, it's just, this is just my child, my baby, you know. But Kunti Devi is very much aware that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But still, even though she's aware of that, she has that familial motherly relationship with him. Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Shri Gaura Hari ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So it's a very unique relationship that she is able to have, that despite knowing he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she has that familial inclination and relationship that she has cultivated with him. In a series of lectures that Srila Prabhupada gave on this section of the Bhagavatam in 1973, when Prabhupada went to Los Angeles, he was there for quite some time. And every morning class he gave was on the section of Queen Kunti. I think the video we saw earlier was from that time as well. I urge you all to, if you can, you should find the time to actually listen or read the transcripts of those lectures. They're very, very beautiful. Prabhupada, and actually those series of lectures is what the devotees then turned into the book, The Teachings of Queen Kunti, later on. In that series of morning lectures, Prabhupada speaks and he says, he's speaking about love. He's speaking on, I think in particular, one of the later verses that she speaks on, where she is describing the beauty of Krishna in relation to a lotus flower, basically. Let's see if I can find that one. That's somewhere. But basically, you know, everything, his beauty, his characteristics and forms, everything is as beautiful as a lotus flower, right? And Prabhupada says that if you actually love God or Krishna, then you can remember him at any time, always. Always. There is no difficulty. Here, Kunti Devi describes Pankaja with reference to lotus flower. So Krishna can be remembered simply by tasting water. We know in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that I am the taste and water. You know, and that wonderful series of verses where Krishna is giving us, you know, a way to remember him through anything and everything we see and engage with in the world. So like one of the examples he gives is, I am the taste of water. So every time you drink some water, you can think, this taste of the water, it is actually Krishna. And in this way you can remember him, you know. So Prabhupada says that if he thinks that this taste of drinking is Krishna, he will one day come out as a great saintly person. And Prabhupada further gives the example that even, you know, an alcoholic or a drunkard who is drinking his alcohol or his wine, in his drunken state, if he takes a sip of his wine and he thinks, oh, you know what, this wine is so good, this taste of wine is just like Krishna. Even that is beneficial to them, because this taste of wine, yes, they're drinking, but it's reminding them of Krishna in some way. See how kind Krishna is, even to someone like that. Prabhupada is saying, this is such a nice thing, this Krishna consciousness, you know. Even by drinking wine, the alcoholic can become Krishna consciousness. And then Prabhupada says, there is no scarcity of alcoholics in your country, right? So if you kindly remember when drinking wine, this taste of wine is Krishna. Just begin with that alone, and one day you will come out as a saintly person, a Krishna conscious person. It is so nice, it is so practical. Right? So Krishna is available in any circumstance if we just want to catch him. And that is what Kunti Devi is highlighting as well in her prayers. That in every single circumstance of her life, no matter what was happening, she found Krishna somewhere because she wanted to find him. So she made sure that she did. Prabhupada continues, this Krishna consciousness movement is so nice. Here Kunti Devi, a great devotee, is giving us an opportunity to become Krishna conscious. Simply concentrating your mind on a lotus flower. That's all, a lotus flower. As soon as you see a lotus flower, you will immediately think of Nama Pankajanabhaya. Oh, Krishna's navel is just like a lotus flower. From the navel of Krishna, there was a stem of a lotus flower, and from that lotus flower, Brahma came on, and so on and so on and so on. So Prabhupada is highlighting again that in every circumstance of life, there's an opportunity to catch Krishna somewhere. But we have to keep our eyes open to what that possibility is. And we have to try and find and remember him in every situation we find. And another point on, how Kunti Devi is highlighting why Krishna is such a worthy person to depend on. There is a verse jumping ahead to the 3rd canto of the Bhagavatam where Shukadeva Goswami is speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. Now, we know when Kunti Devi is saying her prayers, Parikshit is not born yet. In fact, Krishna, he's sitting on the chariot there. A few moments before that, he just saved the baby in the womb of Uttara, who will be born as Parikshit. So again, in the 3rd canto, Shukadeva Goswami is glorifying the wonderfully astonishing nature of Krishna and the kind of person that Krishna is. And there's a verse that says, and Shukadeva Goswami is saying, alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he, that is Krishna, who granted the position of a mother to a she-demon or Putana, although she was unfaithful, and she prepared a deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. So what Shukadeva Goswami is just reflecting on again is the astonishing nature of Krishna. That we know the pastime of Putana. She is a demon who comes to kill Krishna. She smears poison on her breast. She changes her physical appearance. And, she takes the baby and pretends to be this motherly figure who nurses him. But she is trying to kill him. But Krishna doesn't see that. Krishna sees that here is someone who is trying to take care of me. And he kills her. But in that killing, he liberates her, and in the spiritual world gives her the position of a mother to him. And Shukadeva Goswami is just saying, what kind of a person is Krishna? Someone has come to kill him, and he worships them or honors them as a mother, So this Krishna, he sees the tiniest little thing that you will do for him. In one sense, he'll overlook the biggest fault that you have. He'll look at the tiniest offering and he'll magnify that tiniest offering, right? Even if that, he's magnifying something that's, if you could say in one sense, not even real, right? Because she came to kill him. Yes, there was some tiny, maybe she looked at him and she was just, attracted by his beauty, but that split second of a thought was all Krishna needed. That was all he needed. The slightest, inclination was all that he needed to elevate her to that motherly position, right? And this is again what Kunti Devi's prayers are highlighting. That Krishna is not just God to her, right? Even though, yes, he is the all-powerful, the all-pervading, as Prabhupada is saying, the Purusha, right? In that sense, he is not just God to her. He is family. And that is something we can also take in our own lives. How are we seeing Krishna in our life? Because this movement or this process of bhakti is about cultivating a personal relationship. A relationship is something you can only have with a person. You can't have it with some abstract concept, To us, Krishna is not some, far away, all-powerful God that sits behind the clouds there with his big beard and passes judgment of all of us. Krishna sits within the heart as the best friend, as the confidant, as the anything and everything that we will need. Krishna will come. He is intimate, he is affectionate to the devotees, right? And Kunti Devi is realizing that through every experience in my life, it has been an opportunity to grow a relationship with you. This Krishna sitting on the chariot that she is speaking to, it is the same Krishna who liberated Putana, who herds the cows, who kills the demons, who ran away from Jarasandha, who married 16,108 princesses, the same Krishna who drove Arjuna's chariot. There is no difference. But in this verse, to this, Prabhupada says to this verse I was speaking about from the 3rd canto about the nature of Krishna, Prabhupada says that, Prabhupada says that whatever role Krishna takes in your life, his supremacy will never diminish by any means, right? And again we see, Kunti Devi knows that he is God. She believes he is God. But again, deeper than that, he is family. He's the one and only person in her life that she will depend on and rely on through all experiences. And because of that, Krishna's intimacy and his relationship deepens his supremacy, right? Through every relationship and every experience Krishna has, we all just have to allow Krishna into our lives, in one sense. We have to allow him, if we could say, to take care of us. We have to surrender and depend on him and give him the opportunity to do that. Because we can come to him and we can say, Krishna, why aren't you doing X, Y, and Z? But are you allowing him to do it? Kunti Devi took that step and she allowed him to do these things. And because of that, he could reign supreme in her life. And we see that it's kind of the opposite. In a normal everyday relationship, the more familiar you are with someone, the more, if I could say, ordinary they seem. In one sense, that's why we have to have a day like Mother's Day, right? Because we interact with our mothers every single day. The relationship becomes so normal that we need an opportunity to express gratitude and gratefulness and love. Again, to highlight these things. But in Kunti's case, it's the opposite. The more familiar she became with Krishna, the more she interacted with him, the more worshipable he became for her. And that is one thing we can take into our lives from that. And I'll just highlight one more prayer. This is towards the end of her prayers. Text 42. She says quite a few prayers, and she could in one sense repeat her prayers. She could say, Krishna, all I want is calamities, over and over again. But when she comes to the end, what does she say? O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. So in the end, it's not even calamities that she asks for again. To the end, she's like, let me just focus on you without thinking of anything else. The way a river, merges into the ocean, the way the Ganges just flows. Let it go that way and let my consciousness reign supreme that way. Because a motherly love flows so naturally. So she's asking then, let my love for you flow naturally in that way as well. My consciousness, like that. So maybe we cannot pray for calamities the way Kunti Devi has prayed. But maybe we can pray like this, that let me think of you consciously, with intention, with love, with faith. Let me redirect my thoughts towards you, even if it's not all the time, but some of the time, in that way. And we see, ultimately, this is why Kunti Devi is such a wonderful example of a mother, because she's such a wonderful example of an individual, of a devotee in that way. And that just highlights every other role in her life in such an amazing way. Because, surrendering to Krishna doesn't mean that there's no trials and tribulations. Sometimes we think when we become devotees that everything's going to be hunky-dory and okay. And yes, in the beginning it's very nice because there's relief. But Krishna doesn't promise that anywhere, in one sense. But what he does give us is a chance of getting through the trials and tribulations in life by depending on him. And I found a prayer last night actually that I will just conclude with. I don't know who wrote the prayer. I was just scrolling through my Instagram, and there's the different pages, people write poetry and things like that. And I just read it and I thought it was very apt. So I'll just read it, and then we have a question. Okay. I didn't meet God in a temple with folded hands and borrowed faith. I met him at 3 a.m., alone in my room, when the world I trusted cracked open and my hands wouldn't stop trembling. I met him when silence screamed louder than prayers, when the walls knew my name and the floor caught tears I didn't have words for. No bells rang and no mantra saved me. I was just breaking raw, helpless and unguarded. I met God in the moments when I had nothing left to offer but a shaking breath and a question that hurt to ask. Why me? And still somehow I was held. I met him when my heart felt too heavy for my chest, when survival itself felt like worship, when staying alive was the bravest prayer I could manage. God didn't come in light. He came in endurance, in the quiet strength that kept me breathing when I wanted to disappear. I didn't find God in a place that people told me to look for him. I found him in ruin, in the midnight hours, where faith isn't pretty, where belief isn't loud, and where you don't beg for miracles. You beg to make it through the night. And maybe that's where God has always been, not in temples built of stone, but in a room where a heart collapses in the early hours of the morning, where everything falls apart and somehow he holds me and I don't. Thank you very much. I will stop there. Hare Krishna. There are 2 questions. Many times people turn away from their religion in times of calamity. Can you comment? I don't blame them. There are many times, even up to now, where I question my own faith when things happen. We come and we surrender and we do everything out of the goodness of our heart, and still things go wrong. What I would say is that often people turn away from religion in times of calamity. Yes, one sense because prayers are not answered, but in another sense because of the judgment we find in spaces of religion. And if there's anything we can do, is to create a community where people can come in times of calamity, not a space that chases people away. I don't know if that maybe answers your question, or, well, you asked me to comment, but I find personally that yes, I come with my faith and I come every day, and still, I've been practicing this path my whole life, and I still up to now, after, give away my age, 31 years, that's fine. After 31 years of practicing, I still question, what am I doing here if this is the answer that I'm getting, And I find that we should do more for each other. It's not, in one sense, it's not only Krishna's responsibility. Us as the devotees of Krishna also carry his energy and his mercy with us. And we have to create spaces in our community where people can come and they can experience Krishna's grace in their life. But most of the time they will experience it through the devotee. And it's up to us to actually create spaces for people. Why did Queen Kunti feel the need to place her first son in the river and not, let's say, at a sage's home? That's a very interesting question. Unfortunately, that's not something I can give a definite answer to. We would have to ask Kunti herself. And I guess we would also have to look at the kind of like the social environment of the time. You know, her opening the door with a child would just open another can of worms, in a sense. And at that point, you know, we can also see, in one sense, I think maybe it's an opportunity where she puts the baby in the river that highlights her own humanity and her own struggles. That here's a child that's mine, but I don't know what to do. And, you know, there are things we do that we regret. You know, when we read the Mahabharata and when Kunti sees Karna after all those years, and, you know, her heart breaks because she realizes this is the son I've given away, you know. But it's also, in one sense, it was Krishna's arrangement that Karna be raised by the charioteer, because that you know, that down the line unfolded so much more in the Mahabharata. Because of that, Karna was on the side of the Kauravas. He took part in the insulting of Draupadi, so on and so forth. So in one sense, you know, it is Krishna's arrangement. But it's an example of Kunti's humanity. And she was a young girl, put in a position where she didn't know what to do. And she just did what she thought would give the child the best outcome, basically. I think I will end here. If there's no other comments or questions, thank you so much for your time. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And a very big thank you, Gaura Bhumi Mataji, for such a heartwarming class that was filled with love and compassion. I'm sure we all agree. Let's give Mataji another round of applause. Hare Krishna. So devotees, we have just a few reminders. This week, Wednesday, very auspicious day, Ekadasi, the fasting from grains, beans and legumes. So happy fasting for Wednesday. Then on Saturday is the start of a very auspicious month, Purushottam month or Adik Mas. So that's starting on Saturday, and we all know how auspicious and special this month is and how dear it is to Krishna, and therefore it is dear to all of us, Krishna's devotees. And any offerings made at this time is very endearing to Lord Krishna. And there's so many opportunities we have for special offerings, like you can come throughout the day and make lamp offerings to Krishna. Then there are other offerings that can be made, and you can speak to the Matajis at the book table about this. Also, there are details of this online. Then Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja is on the 5th of September. And you are welcome to share your heartfelt appreciations, your service history, any realizations. And this you can do via online submission for the Pan-African Vyasa Puja book. And the submissions are due. The last day is the 31st of May. And all submissions will be made online. Again, details of this are online. Then there's a samskara course that takes place next month that covers the 16 essential samskaras. And all of these details are also online. Devotees, today's Sunday Love Feast Prasadam has been prepared lovingly by the Clear Estate Namahata, which is led by His Grace Jagannath Das. So let's give them a round of applause and a great thank you for the Prasadam. Devotees, on the topic of Prasadam, I know we're all very eager to honor Krishna's Prasadam. And we get excited to go into the queue for Prasadam. But we'd like to ask you to let's allow our senior devotees to go first, so they don't have to follow a long queue and stand in this heat for a long time. So we'll lovingly allow our senior devotees to go through first. Devotees, thank you for attending today's Sunday Love Feast program. We wish you a blissful week ahead, and once again, a happy Mother's Day. So I'll say Hare Krishna, and I'll hand over now to Her Grace Vaishnava Priya Mataji, who will address you. Hare Krishna. After the Mataji speaks to you, we'll go into Aarti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. And on behalf of the Women's Forum, we'd like to wish all mothers, would-be mothers, and single dads a happy Mother's Day. Stemming from Gaura Bhumi's class and the question, The Women's Forum is actually a safe space for women to develop your Krishna consciousness. So please feel free to join us whenever you can. And also, the teachings of Queen Kunti that Gaura Bhumi mentioned, the Women's Forum has a online reading session every fortnight. So you are welcome to join us for that. But today I want to speak to you on something a little more exciting. This Women's Forum is excited to launch a beautiful new initiative called Conscious Cuisine. Right? Conscious Cuisine is a digital Sattvic cookbook that aims to celebrate and honor the incredible cooks of our temple and the community whose loving seva has nourished generations through prasadam. So the Heartfelt Project will showcase cherished Sattvic recipes as well as offer deeper insight into the journeys, memories, and devotional service of the devotees behind the dishes. Through this offering, we hope to promote conscious eating, Sattvic cooking, and the understanding that is the mood of the cook that transforms food into prasadam. So the Conscious Cuisine recipe ebook is set to officially launch during Women's Month in August as a tribute to the wonderful women whose devotion and service continue to nourish our community. So over the next few months, our team will be busy compiling content, stories, recipes, and devotional experiences as their special offering. So we are currently looking for devotees with skills in photography and graphic design. If you would like to offer your service towards this exciting project, please reach out to Bhaktin Subhashni Govender. Subhashni, will you please stand up so that the devotees can see you? Hare Krishna, this is Subhashni. And please reach out to her, and her details will also be available at the book table. So should you wish to be featured in the Conscious Cuisine, that's the digital cookbook, we warmly invite you to also connect with Subhashni. Right? We look forward to sharing the sacred culinary journey with you as we honor the women whose hands and hearts serve with dedication. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vaishnava Priya Mataji. So we're honoring women today, and we're honoring anyone who may be here for the first time. And we do see some new people here, and we'd like to give you a gift. So do come forward. Let's encourage them. Let's chant for these lovely devotees. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have one more book. If there's someone else who's new, coming for the first time, or maybe not your very first time, if you'd like to come through. Hare Krishna. So devotees will have a bit of kirtan, and then we will go into Aarti. Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
push it up. Thank you. Yes, please.
I'm not sure how this
I think that's fine. We just. That's fine.
That's fine? No, it's not fine. Let's do that.
I think that's fine.
Manage. I don't know what to
Fine.
say.
Can I do it sideways? Yes.
Namma Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pashastada Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare I think it's too low for me. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Shri Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gaura-nitai, 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 Jaya Gaura-nitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Stota Sata Shishimari A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON founder, BBT founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parirajikacharya. Stota Sata Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda Ki. Premsko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Navravip Mayapur Dham Ki. Shimatur Vrindavandama Ki, Ganga Maya Ki, Yamuna Maya Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Tulasi Devi Ki, Shamaveta Bhaktavrinda Ki, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the symbol devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Namaste Narasingaya Praladadaine Hiranyakashipurvakshaya Shilatankanakalaye Ito nisringo parato nisringo Yato yato yamitato nisringo Bahir nisringo hridaye nisringo Nisringamadim saranam prapadim Tavakara kamalavare nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nisringadev, Jaya Nisringadev, Nisringadev, Jaya Nisringadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki, Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki, Jai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.